Welcome. I'm so glad that you were joining me. You know what, I was reminded of something that happened recently. Someone reminded me of a conversation that I had with them nearly 10 years ago. They said, Priscilla, you said to me that you wished you had a camera so that you could record some great conversations you were having with really remarkable people so that you could share them with everybody. Well, now there's a camera and you're the everybody that I want to share this conversation with. This is going to be a good one. You're not going to want to miss it. So pull up a seat and make yourself at home. Good day to be here. I am very excited today because we're going to be having a conversation that needs to be had, a conversation about second chances. I don't know about any of you, but I have needed second chances. Anybody in here ever needed another chance? Yeah. How about not just a second one, but maybe a third or, 50th chance in our lives to do things over and maybe have the Lord's grace kind of poured out over us for a brand new start. And this woman has a story like that. I've long heard about her. We've had mutual friends. We've been connected kind of, but I've never really had a sit down, deep, like for real conversation with this woman. And that's what I'm looking forward to. Even before she came out, we had an opportunity just to say hello. And, she started talking a little bit about herself. And I said, no, stop. I want all the good stuff when you get in this seat right here. And so I'm excited to get to all the good stuff. Would you please help me to welcome Pat Smith? Y'all, finally. Yes. I'm so glad that you're here.
Girl, I'm so excited. I don't know if I told you this, but about 2 years ago, you always got a little testimony. For my birthday, everyone kept saying, what do you want for your birthday? And I said, I just want to have lunch with Priscilla.
Well, how about a television show instead?
Yes! That's what I'm like, finally. Hey, God, you know what? He has way more in store for you than you could even imagine for yourself, okay? Y'all better do an amen on that one. Okay? Because I'm not having just lunch, but I had dinner and now this.
Well, we live in the same town.
Yes.
And we had to travel out of town and sit down in front of cameras to actually get together, which is
crazy.
Yes, but it's good because if we would have gotten all that stuff out over lunch, then I don't think this interview would be as authentic as it's getting ready to be.
Exactly.
Is there anything I can't ask you, Pat?
Oh, no, I'm an open book.
We love open books, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, like, are y'all good with that? Like, I just believe that when you come together, especially with other women, that it needs to be authentic and real and transparent.
Yeah.
Because why not? I mean, like, you're wasting the time if you don't really share.
I agree.
Heart to heart.
I completely agree.
So that's my commitment, that I'm coming to share heart to heart and be real.
And that's honestly what your book is all about, which has just recently been released just in the last few months, right?
It was actually, it's May.
In May.
Yeah, it was my first book. So I had no idea what to expect, and so it's been a pretty interesting journey.
Yes.
At first, I was like counting, like, okay, how many did we sell today? How many did we sell today? And then I just said, no, it's not about that.
Yeah, because it becomes less and less important, especially when a book like yours, which is a memoir, really it is about your life. It is the story. It is the coming clean. It's the opening of your heart, the opening of your story, because you really want other women to be encouraged by your story. The name of your book is?
Second Chances.
Second Chances.
It's clear. Like, literally, I had two people from two different parts of my life said to me one time, your life represents second chances.
Yeah, it does.
So in the book, I took little nuggets of my life along with other women's stories and just kind of put it together to show how really God can take some of the most devastating, difficult, humiliating, shameful moments of your life and turn it around into something pretty awesome.
All right, well, we got to start from, kind of the beginning so that we can all get the goods on your story. And by the way, you might know Pat's husband. Just a little, random guy named Emmett Smith, We got
any Cowboy fans in here? Cowboy fans?
Well, if he were just
I'm in Titans territory, right? What am I thinking? I thought there were Cowboy fans everywhere, but I guess I was wrong.
You all have a beautiful, beautiful family.
Yes.
But it's been a little bit of a journey in your life to get to this place where forget even your spouse, forget the career that you have now and the book that you've written, but just to get to a place of internal settledness.
Yes.
So take us sort of back, sort of at the beginning. Here you are, you're in these beauty pageants to start with.
Now, I heard you were a beauty pageant.
Not really.
Are you serious?
Not really. See, I did it because I was like, maybe I can get some scholarship money to go to college. That's why I was doing it.
Right.
But I didn't ever do the ones that had the beauty. It was more like maybe like a talent, or maybe like you had to do a little monologue or something. But you could just walk out there in a bathing suit. I mean, you look like a China doll.
Listen to you. So you're wrong for that.
You do look like a China doll. Doesn't she kind of look like?
No.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Well, you know, and
just say thank you.
Okay. I'm telling you, I really struggle with it. I'm learning to say thank you because you know what I've learned, and I'm gonna get all over the place. Just bring me back in.
Okay.
I've learned that if you don't feel it on the inside,
I know.
No matter what other people see, it doesn't matter.
That's right.
And so for so many years, I didn't feel it.
Yeah.
And so when people, even with pageants and the whole nine, they said it made me so uncomfortable. And I go, no, but my.
Yeah.
And then my husband said, baby, just say thank you.
Just say thank you.
And now
we do make excuses for ourselves, don't we? Or we talk ourselves out of compliments. We have a way of when someone says, you're talented in that area. Well, I mean, not really, you know.
Right.
We kind of want to work our way around compliments. And so that sort of is a spotlight that shines on the part of us where we feel a little insecure.
Oh,
or we've got a little intimidation.
Huge insecurities.
Okay, so you're winning these pageants because you went all the way to the Miss, is it Miss
USA?
Miss USA. Yes. So you are in the Miss USA pageant as Miss
Virginia.
Miss Virginia.
Yeah.
And you're in this pageant at this level, and what are you feeling internally? You've already got titles, you've already got recognition. And how old were you at that point?
I was 22.
Okay, so you're 22 years old. Tell me how Miss Virginia at the Miss USA pageant is feeling internally and the struggles she's facing.
Okay, so let me back up a little bit. So that same year, I lost my mother to breast cancer. So my mother fought for about 5 years. She was diagnosed my freshman year in college. I was 17 years old. My mom was like that kind of mom that she's your rock. You know, she just tells you what to do, how to do it. My father was a great dad, but my mom definitely like ran the house, right? So when I found out she was diagnosed back in '88, breast cancer back then was like a death sentence for a lot of people. And I already kind of took that on, that I'm losing my mom. Like, she won't be there for my first wedding, and she won't be there to help me through the birth of my first child, you know? Mm-hmm. And I really suffered with that all the way through college, and then after I graduated, which was her dream, she passed after that. So she passed, I immediately learned how to put on a mask because it hurt so bad that I just could not take it on.
So it was easier to just mask the fact that you were hurting than actually be open with anybody. There was nobody in your life that you could sort of be clean with about how you were really feeling?
No one.
Okay.
I had one, the night, I mean, of course I cried and I was hurt. The night after her funeral, I remember just having like just that ugly, ugly, ugly cry moment. Mm-hmm. And then it was like, oop, put it back on. Yep. And now that I'm older, I can see what it was. I felt whole with her. Mm-hmm. You know, and without having a relationship with Jesus Christ back then, to me, she was everything. So to have her taken away, I was broken. Okay. I felt broken.
So here you are standing up on this platform. You feel broken on the inside. Mm-hmm. And then you didn't win the pageant, the Miss USA pageant. You were what place?
Y'all, okay, I'm going to call it, it's called first runner-up. I call it second loser. I'm sorry, girl. If you don't win, it ain't no ups, no third, whatever they want to call it, third place. You don't win. And they give you your flowers, and they escort you off the stage, and then they bring the winner on, and they give her beautiful tiara, and, you know, it's over.
You just feel discarded.
I mean, it's like literally like that little, I had a dream as a little girl at that moment, and it was just like
dashed.
Swept away.
Dashed.
So people say, so how did you handle that? I said, I went home, and I had a Whopper with extra onions cut in half, a large fry, and a chocolate shake, and then I was depressed for like a week or two before the first phone call came.
And what do you mean before the first phone call came? What call?
So I got a call because I thought my life was over. That was for me, it was like, okay, if I go to Miss USA, that will be my way to, because I always wanted to host a show like you're doing. I'm so proud of you.
Well, you know, me and Oprah are on speed dial.
Look, and the funny thing is, that's who I was like, oh, I wanted, like, when she's over, oh, I want her to hand that to me, you know?
Yeah.
And of course, I'm still waiting for the call. So I thought, you know, back in the 80s, she was huge, and I thought, that's who I look to.
Yeah.
You know, because of the impact she had on people's lives. I just connected to that impact. So, of course, for me, it was like, this will be my way, because I'm from a small town in Virginia, Chesapeake, Virginia. Any Virginians in the house? Yeah, same thing. Same thing. And so I just thought, this is my way out to LA or New York. And so I didn't realize I didn't have to win to still win, which is a part of second chance.
Did y'all get that?
You don't have to win to win.
That's right. Yeah. Because you know what I've found, that sometimes the most frustrating little parts of our journey, what we would call interruptions, that often those are God interventions. Those are the little pieces of the puzzle he's throwing in if we'll just be open-handed and open-hearted enough and trusting enough in him to believe that if he's allowed this to pass through his fingers and into my experience, that means he intends to use this in some way for my good.
You preach, girl.
And his glory.
See?
Yeah,
He does.
But it's hard in the moment, isn't it? Especially when you're 22.
And you don't have a relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in a very traditional church, Baptist church, and it was religion. It was traditions. And I didn't have the relationship to even think that way.
Okay.
And then with my mom now gone, you know, and me putting on this mask that everything's okay, no one had the ability to pour into me.
Yep.
So I learned from that is that God will get you to a place where you'll finally like break down, submit, and open your arms so then you can be poured into. And that happened for me after moving to Los Angeles. I signed with an agent who happened to just see the pageant. And thank God she caught me before I was off stage at the end. And she said, you know, I want to represent you for hosting. So I'm like, really? And she goes, yes. I moved to LA. Now this is where the problem came. When you have a void, like I had, which was my mom, right? And I'm covering it all up. I didn't realize I had a void. So I was using ambition and goals to try to fill it. And also men, relationships. You know, what's the next, you know, what guy can help heal this pain? And I reconnected with an ex-boyfriend who was an actor and comedian at the time and really was on the rise with his career, but was still young in LA. And we just, I know y'all gonna think I'm crazy, and I probably was a little cray-cray at the time. But
we all have seasons of cray-cray.
Cray-cray.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's really crazy. I think we're all human, right? But I say cray-cray for fun.
No, I think we're cray-cray.
Okay, I was cray-cray. And I reconnected with this ex-boyfriend, and within a week we were engaged. And then within 9 months, we got married. Do
you mind saying who this was?
No, my ex-husband is Martin Lawrence. I don't know if y'all remember The Martin Show or Bad Boys or College Road Trip, Big Mama, you know, the whole nine. I met him when he was doing The Martin Show and when he did the first Bad Boys with Will Smith. And it was, you know, where everyone else would have thought, oh my God, you know, this is Hollywood, this is a big deal, you're on sets. We were in such bad places that it was mutually a very abusive relationship. And it was tearing me apart on the inside as well as him, and we didn't know what to do or how to work it out. We, again, did not have a relationship with the Lord. We were not in church. And 3 or 4 months after our marriage, I conceived our daughter, who's now 20. And she's a junior, and talk about second chances. When this child was born into this cray-cray, I thought, my baby's gonna be cray-cray. And I felt so much guilt over that. And then when you look at her now, she's a junior at Duke University.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and she's doing great. So second chances, I just want to keep reminding you all as I share my story.
And then, but the relationship got bad enough that one day
I left.
Yeah.
That's when my relationship started with Christ.
Yeah.
I kept wondering, you know, my parents were married for 30 years before my mom died. And so divorce for me wasn't an option. And I think we both would have stayed in there just fighting it out. Now, mind you, we were living in Beverly Hills, wonderful, beautiful home, but the inside was cray-cray. I signed a prenup. I'm real open about telling people, because people say, well, Dad, you were married to a movie star. You should have been fine. But no, I signed a prenup.
So you left with nothing?
Nothing. Credit cards were cut off. Checking accounts were shut down. I did have a car, and I had whatever cash was in my pocket, and my most prized possession, which was my baby.
If you're feeling discouraged and defeated,
If you're a bit overwhelmed or maybe even feeling undone, if you're wondering whether or not your future has any hope of victory, then listen, this Bible study is for you.
Strongholds are torn down by the Word of God. Fortresses are dismantled by the Word of God. When you place faith in Jesus Christ, the righteousness of Christ is credited to your spiritual bank account. That you are the righteousness of God in Christ Jesus.
I invite you to join me for a lesson in putting on the full armor of God. Our lives are going to be changed, yours and mine, because we're going to learn that we've got the victory in Jesus' name. So you left, and just tell us sort of, you know, the nutshell version of from that place in your early 20s to now, the Pat that we see whole and healthy sitting on this stage. What did that journey entail? How did you get to this place of wholeness and health after such brokenness?
I will tell you, and I will always be grateful to my sister. That's why I love women and sisterhood and friendships, because my sister, she's the one who flew to LA to be with me when she realized what was going on. And she's the one who talked me into going to church. And it was a Wednesday night Bible study where I made the decision, walked to the altar and gave my life to Christ. And my life has not been the same since. So that was my start of my journey. Now, I tell people all the time, just because you give your life to Christ does not mean all troubles go away.
No, it doesn't.
But now you have someone who's going to always be there, right? Right? Always there for you. And he just took me up, you know, took me under his wing and just carried me along. Things got easier, but it was still difficult. I met my now husband, Emmett, in a crazy way in Aruba on a vacation, and a mutual friend introduced us. At a time I was not looking for a man, and definitely did not want one that was high profile.
Mm-hmm. You were done with that?
Done.
Yeah.
So,
all that glitters is just not gold.
No. And I kept telling people, I just want like a man from Idaho. Like, nothing goes
No offense
down
to anybody who is watching that is from Idaho.
No, like, I think, if anything, you all should feel great, because y'all stuff is not blasted on CNN like shootings, and I mean, it was just like, you know, Idaho. It's
just
so simple.
Simple,
right? And I just wanted this sweet man who was just gonna love me, and we'd raise our kids, and no drama. And I meet Emmett. And I'm like, no. But there was a connection. And I told him I wasn't ready. I'd just gone through a divorce, and I had a daughter, and I thought that would make him run. How many
years separation was it between your first marriage and meeting Emmett?
Years? Talk about a month.
1 month?
Yeah.
So it's a 1 month time period, and you're meeting this guy that you feel a connection with. Did you want to just run for your life?
I did. I literally ran. So, I know, look at you. So you don't know all this. She's going, oh my God. Like, so no, this is what of course, it was 6 months before the divorce was final.
Right.
So our divorce was final in April. I literally met Emmett in May. Now, ladies, do not do this unless God, you know, calls it that way. But that's how he called it for us. Mm-hmm. And when I met him, I thought, literally, I said, I'm not ready. I just went through divorce. I have a daughter. I thought he would run. He didn't. And he said, I'll be patient with you. Let's just be friends. And to the point where I wouldn't even give him my number, you know, and because I was in therapy at the time. That's the other thing. Don't tell a new guy you meet you're in therapy. Okay? Smart move on my part. I just told him I needed time. But I promised my therapist when I went on this vacation, I would not give my number out. That was kind of our commitment, so that I was not trying to fill voids. So I kept the commitment, but she didn't tell me I couldn't get their number. So.
That's not even right.
It worked. Priscilla, it worked. So he gave me his number, and then he said, if you choose to call me when you get back, call me. So when I got back to LA, of course, I waited a day. And I called him.
So do you think that you, in a way, sort of circumvented the process that your therapist was trying to encourage you to go through?
You know what? No, because then she became our therapist.
Okay. So she began to work with the two of you together.
Absolutely.
Together.
It was important. I said, if you're going to be in my life, this is a part of it. I mean, again, don't tell him when you meet him, but just slowly introduce it. And And he loved me enough to do it. And then I'll tell you, and I talk a lot about it in the book.
Because there's a lot of health in counseling.
Oh,
there's a lot of health. It's like changing the oil in your car. You know, you don't wait until it's like at the bare end, you know, just unable to function before you take care of your car. It's kind of an ongoing maintenance, a proactive conversation. And a lot of therapy, especially for women, happens amongst friends over a cup of coffee.
Right.
With just someone who's older, wiser, more mature, who can help you to sort through some of the things that are going on in our life. And I think sometimes that idea of counseling and therapy scares folks away. It makes us feel like in some way that's just for certain kinds of people with certain kinds of issues.
Right.
While a lot of us are going home and suffering heavily with depression or things that are
Anxiety.
really discouraging us. We can't sleep at night.
Relationships.
Yeah, because we just need to have an open conversation. So I appreciate you saying that there's health there for you and for you and a spouse.
Oh, absolutely. We've been in counseling since.
How long have y'all been married?
16 years.
16 years. And tell us about your family.
So we're a blended family. And so part of in the book I talk about, because again, just because I met this wonderful guy in Aruba that, you know, had a big, you know, nice smile, pretty eyes, could dance his off. If y'all watch Dancing with the Stars, y'all know that, right? Okay. Did y'all vote? I always love when people vote because I'm like, okay, we're doing this. You got to win. Like, this is too much for me. But so anyway, we really connected and came together. But during that dating period of 3 years, we went through a very difficult trial because I was in LA, he was in Dallas, and we're both seeking the Lord. But I had really just put him on too high of a pedestal. I made him Mr. Idaho, right? Mm-hmm. And he was really Emmett Smith, very human. And so he conceived a child with an ex-girlfriend during that time. So talk about forgiveness. So I tell people you cannot truly have a second chance of anything until you forgive yourself and then you forgive that person. And it doesn't just happen automatically. It took years. So that's why I say therapy is...
So that's why the dating for 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
Just really working through all of that.
'Cause I didn't think I could handle it.
And well, most women would think they can't handle that.
I didn't think
so
I could
what
handle
made you decide to forgive and continue to move forward toward marriage with this guy?
I would counseling for sure, and his commitment to me to say, you know what, I made a mistake. I'm so sorry to hurt you like this. I'm going to be committed to my daughter, and I'm going to be committed to your daughter, and especially to you as a wife, and you won't have to worry about this again.
So
And
you
I'm
went
willing to
into
work
marriage
this.
fully trusting that
No.
you guys had gone through the work enough for you to trust enough to say, I do.
Oh, I do, but we're going to still work on this. I mean, it took years, Priscilla, before
Yeah, but
I
what
could
made
actually,
you, I'm curious about
it
that.
just kind of floated away. And every now and then, I'll tell you, I mentioned Dance with the Stars. When he told me, now this is 7 years later. So I'm still like, I mean, I've gotten better, but it's still there.
Yeah.
And we're in church, and I love the Lord. It has nothing to do with that. When he told me he was doing Dancing with the Stars, I was like, oh no, you're gonna be with this like what cute little 20-year-old Cheryl Burke? Like she is like fine. Like I have had 3 kids breastfed. I mean, like body is falling apart, and you want to do what? And he was like, babe, I promise it's good. It's gonna be business. I'm like, it better be. Like, no, going to coffee. No, let's go have something to eat. Like this has got to be business, or I'm not gonna be able to handle it.
Yeah.
And let me tell y'all, I struggled for 18 weeks.
While he was doing this show.
Because in my mind, I was having these Oscar-worthy motion pictures of him and Cheryl having this steamy affair. But no, he was just as straight and focused as he could be. Cheryl became my little sister. I mean,
That's awesome.
to the point where God turned it around again for a second chance, where when he went back to do the All-Star season, she would not go on stage until I prayed with her.
That's great.
The woman I was so scared of.
Yeah.
You know? So again, no, it didn't just happen. But I loved him enough, and he loved me enough that we were willing to work through it if it took a lifetime.
And that's what I hear you saying as the common thread through this story, is that second chances come. They're available to all of us, but they do take work to maintain the newfound freedom that you've been given, or the newfound gift of whatever it is in this relationship, this opportunity to walk down this road in this relationship again, that the second chance is there, yes, but it takes work to walk in that thing that you've been given and to take full advantage of that. And you've done that because now, not only are you very intentional and purposeful about your marriage and about your own internal health. I happen to know that you have a great group of girlfriends that surround you.
Like the bomb.
Yes, that you all pray together regularly, you all connect, you all are keeping each other accountable, and that you're vulnerable and open with. So you're doing the work of that, but you're also now doing the work of making sure that other women in particular feel encouraged about their second chances,
right,
and know the work that needs to go into their own path through your book. But what else are you doing?
So this is so key. I don't know what anyone here is going through, but what I've learned, and you probably have too, is that typically our misery opens up the opportunity for ministry. Mm-hmm. You know, your pain turns into your passion. And over the series of all these, you know, these different, and I mean, there's more, it's in the book, but all these difficult situations and shame and low self-esteem and all the things that I struggled with, I realized that God was preparing me for something greater. Because during Dancing with the Stars, it wasn't just Cheryl, but I was just mad at him for being him. Mm-hmm. Like, I thought, wait a minute, I should be out there dancing. I was in LA, moved to Dallas, gave up my career, and now we're back in LA while you're dancing? Like, you're a football player. Like, you wanted to do construction and real estate. You know, this just doesn't seem fair, God.
So you feel like you lost yourself a little bit there, and it was...
Totally drowned.
Yeah.
I mean, totally got in the shadows, but it wasn't his fault. I allowed it to happen. Yeah. He never pushed me in the shadows. He never told me I couldn't pursue my dreams. But sometimes as women, we just tend to take on everything, right? And sometimes we will put our families and other people's needs before our own. And I just forgot about Pat. So one Sunday at church, Bishop Jakes, I'll never forget, said, I don't know what God's told you to do, but whatever it is, you need to do it. And it just resonated that God had already given me a plan and a purpose. And because I had my own mindset on what I had my mind on Oprah, and I couldn't let it go, I was missing all of these beautiful opportunities he had for me.
And what were those opportunities that he was setting in front of you? What have you developed now?
So it's called Treasure You.
Treasure You.
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about it.
So it started with a retreat with 20 women. 20 women who I knew were in the shadows of their husbands, struggling to find their passion and purpose, but needed a safe place. So I put together this retreat. Y'all, I was scared that nobody was going to come. And they came, and it was intimate, it was safe. There was a lot of crying, a lot of laughing, but a lot of healing. Mm-hmm. And from that, it just opened up to now. I mean, we sell out. I mean, it's, you know, hundreds of women, and it's one of the most amazing experiences for women. And from that, we now raise dollars to help women that were just like me, a woman leaving the house that needs a bridge. Yeah. You know, I didn't need. God was going to get me there, but I needed a bridge. I needed a girlfriend, and it was a girlfriend who took me and my daughter in, and said, you can stay here as long as you need to, and then until we moved into a hotel. So I'm now, like I call it the Cherie for people. It was my girlfriend Cherie Smith that did it for me, and so now Treasure You is that for other women.
A bridge. I love that. I love that. It's a beautiful picture of sometimes folks just need bricks put in front of them so that they have a path to walk on to get to the place that is the next step on their journey.
Like, girl, it's going to be okay.
Yeah,
girl,
just somebody say it's okay. That's right.
I got you. Like, you're going to be all right. You can stay here. What do you need? Love on you. She took Jasmine and held her for me. That's what a lot of women need, just so they get on the other side. And
you know what I appreciate about you is that I think sometimes that all of us have a tendency to look at other women, particularly women that are in high-profile situations like Miss Pat has been for most of your life. You've been in a situation where for some reason you've been high profile, and we'll look and see that and assume that there's no problems over there, either because she's beautiful or because she's won this pageant or because she's married to this guy or because she has this kind of career. We make assumptions about other women, and what I appreciate about you is that you have very steadily sort of begun to tear down that false veneer and to say, hey, just because I have this on my resume does not mean I'm whole on the inside.
And you know, that's one of my messages now, because of course when I came out with this book, people are like, well, what do you know about second chances, right? And I said, oh, let me tell you. Yeah. And I started really just seeing the benefit in the fact that I am so transparent.
Yeah, there's a lot of benefit.
You know, I said, this is, you know, what we wear, what we do is one thing, but who we are is something different. Yeah. And I learned that. So I tell people all the time, I'm like, you know, like, I wear Chelsea. This is Chelsea.
Is that...
This is Chelsea.
Yeah, her name is Chelsea.
Her name is Chelsea.
So the wig has a name?
Oh, I have two. They have names. Chelsea, and then there's Chloe. Y'all, it's been the bomb, for real. I mean, it has taken so much stress off my life. Trying to go get my hair done and keeping it up. It's been, girl, you should think about it.
Really?
You have beautiful hair, but it has saved my life. And really, like, I've saved so much money. Going to get your hair done and cut and colored, it's done. It's like I just put her on, and I get home, I take her off, I'm free. So I just put my bonnet on. It's the girl. If I don't say anything else to y'all, y'all go get y'all some Chelseas and some Chloes and free yourself. Free yourself.
Get free.
So all this is just stuff. It's fun. Like I was back there in the makeup room. You know, we're having fun.
Yeah.
But this is not who I am. This is just what we do. But this is not who I am. So like, I just think we all need to start being who we are, and then it glows from the inside out. So that's what it's about. That's what second chances are about.
We just need to be free.
Girl, get you a Chloe. Go ahead, girl. Let it all just. There you go, girl. Just let it all hang out. There you go. Look at her. Gorgeous. Look, oh, you are fine. Jerry, you got a beautiful wife, Jerry. Your wife is, look at him, he's like, I like that.
Should I give her a name? Should I give her a name?
I think that's Jessica.
Jessica.
Don't you think, Jerry, is that good, Jessica? Oh, okay, hey, your hubby said it's good.
Jessica and I want you to know that we're going to have a part 2 to this incredible conversation because we have to talk more about Treasure You. We need to know about your organization. And there's actually a young lady named Jessica.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
That we're going to be talking to.
Jessica, don't take offense. Don't take offense. Jessica's laughing back there, but yes.
We're going to have a conversation with her because Treasure You has changed her life and really helped her to have a second chance and a second opportunity. So everybody just, you know, as you're sitting there relaxing, just let your ponytail holder out. Just go ahead and be free. Give your hair a name. And then thank Miss Pat for being with us today.